Cheers, everybody. Good morning. The microphone? Yeah, it's working. Good morning. Brand new, freshly made hot coffee. Yes. Second for the morning already. I got here rather early this morning. Been laser cutting at 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. EVA foam. Yep. It's got that distinct smell. And I've probably left little black fingery marks everywhere. And I'm going to have more black fingery marks soon. Stay tuned on the stream. You'll see. How's everyone's week been? Everyone good? That boy's aviation. So is it really like flying for large men? Just curious. It's interesting what people pick for their names, for their aliases. I mean, some are pretty standard, you know. I'm pretty sure Graham's alias is pretty standard because it's him. So it's General Aviation. Okay. Oh yeah, I was being a little facetious. I apologize. Wasn't picking. I was just curious. But so as in you make airplanes, you fly airplanes, commercial, private, public. Just curious. Don't mind me. Just sticky beaking. Dave's on time. No pub tonight. Oh, dude, pub's a much better option than here. Much better option. I've got lots of... Well, it seems like lots of stuff to cover today. I don't know. I might wrap through it really quickly. But so much has happened this week. But I'm going to wait to see if more people pop in because the viewing numbers are quite low at the moment. I'm not sure why. Even the waiting numbers, the people waiting for the stream to start this morning, was single-digit figures. So either people just are not interested in SQUIXL, which is quite possible. Doesn't bode well for a product release. Or everyone's at the pub, except for Dave. So it's going to wait a few more minutes so I don't have to show things multiple times or repeat myself multiple times. So I'm just going to sit and just chill and drink my coffee while it's still hot, I guess. Yeah. Oh, we just passed the 20 concurrent viewer mark. That's pretty low. I remember the days where I used to have 500 people on my streams. I guess that was back when I was doing things that people were interested in. I don't know. Oh no, we just dropped below 20 again. I shouldn't look at the stats. The stats are really bad. They are, yeah, really, really bad. Ah, yeah. So, I don't know if Flynn is still in the chat. Hey, Quindor. But Flynn popped in the chat this morning. Hopefully he'll behave himself. I'm not sure if he's still here. He's probably watching rubbish on YouTube instead. The printer's going. There's I'm printing a case in a new color. a SQUIXL case. I think it's going to look terrible. The filament color is bleh, but you know what? I bought it. I can't return it, and I'm curious to see what it looks like. And I probably won't use the filament for anything else. It's actually really hard getting matte PLA in nice colors. Not entirely true. There's an Australian company apparently that has. It seems like they've got a really great range of colors. Too good a range of colors. I'm a bit dubious about them. Unfortunately, the colors that I did want to try, they didn't have in stock, so I didn't order any. But I've got some more coming from Bamboo. But we'll discuss all that when I show you some things. But we're ticking away. We're 5 minutes down and still pretty low numbers. I might just start. Let's get into it, shall we? It occurred to me just before as the countdown was ticking down, and I was looking at my desk, the state of my desk, which is, oh my god, disaster, because it's my little production area and everything else. And just thinking about SQUIXL in general and thinking, well, you know what? It's really hard designing a product publicly. You know, showing the stages of it. Hey Matt, how you doing? Showing its evolution, you know, talking about decisions and just whatever. Like it's you know, it makes it feel like it takes forever to build a product, and it does. no doubt. But I think it potentially just ruins the journey of it, you know, a little bit for me and a little bit for a lot of people who are watching, because it's just a dragging on process, right? Like, am I even going to release the thing? Well, made a lot of progress this week. You know, firmware is always going to be the slow part, and there's a lot to do there, not even on the firmware I'm writing, but just building a whole suite of examples and other things. But from the product point of view, I made some pretty big headway this week, which is good. Slightly late, coffee is fresh, moo. Moo to you too, fresh coffee too. I mean, there's no point saying hi to everyone in the chat, right? Because there's like not many people in chat. I'll do it anyway. Yumbo, good morning. Alan Medson, hi. Flynn, if you're still around, hello. Graham, good morning. Dutch Taurus, moo. Beata, hi. Fat Boy Aviation, Fat Boys Aviation, sorry. Dave Harris, Quindor, Matt, and Mr. England, hi. So, like, in no particular order, because there's a lot to show, I've been printing cases in different colors, which you would have seen from the thumbnail. Hey, Flowrider 65, hello, X Micron, oh, Andy Mouse 123. People are turning up. Good, yay. So, where are I? Okay, so there's obviously, and the case has gone through even more iterations. But I've finished the iterations on the case, and there was a very important change I had to make. Very important change, and you'll see why. And it's freaking cool. Anyway, so there's the black case. I'll show you. I'm showing you like this first because it's all about the colors and stuff, right? So everything I'm doing is in matte PLA. I wish there was matte other things. There's some people advertising matte PETG, but PETG isn't really. I don't see how PETG could be matte at all because of the type of material it is. But the color range is not great, and they don't do a matte in anything else. Like you can't get matte ABS or matte ASA. So PLA it is, and so that's the matte. It's a bit hard to see. Like you need that shiny on it. Watching your process makes me feel very invested in your products. Also know more about them than anything I own. Thank you, Graham. That's nice. But don't you think it also makes it just? I don't know. Maybe for me because I'm picking it here, and then, you know, lots of streams about it. I feel like I'm just, I don't know, maybe boring people with it. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too deeply into it, but it worries me sometimes. Right, so anyway, that's it. So magnets on the bottom, as well as the magnetic connector, everything, SQUIXL branding, looks great, fits really well. It doesn't feel flush at the front, but that's because there's the screen protector on. And when you peel that off, it's pretty flush. It's impossible to get it exactly perfect. But we'll get into that. So there's the black. I've also got, here's a red. Now, I wasn't sure if I was going to ship, it give people the option for multiple colors. I am. It's really painful to make multiple color cases because I can't, they're too big to do. If I do them on a single bed, they're too big to do multicolor on the thing, to do print it once. And I can't, on the Bamboo X1C, I can't do multicolor by layer because it will take like 7 days to print 4 cases with sacks of wastage. So right now I'm printing cases one at a time, but that's okay. I got some plans for that, but you know, obviously the easiest plan would be, not that you can get them right now, but the easiest plan would be to get one of the new Bamboo lab machines, because then I could do in place multicolor, like 4 at a time. Anyway, there's the red, which actually looks quite nice. So I am going to give people the option of different colors. I'm assuming black is going to be the most popular, but the red looks pretty cool. I like the red, right? It's just a, again, it's a matte finish. I've got some unassembled ones here. I'm going to assemble some on stream today, just to show you the process. It's a interesting process. So we've got blue, matte blue, which I kind of like. It's a nice, it's almost the SQUIXL color, almost. Hey Dave, how you doing? It's got magnets in it, ready to go. I've been playing around with the tolerances, but I have to glue them in anyway, just in case. So that's the blue. I've got a grey, a little bit too light for me, matte grey. I've got a darker version coming. I'm not sure, but I don't mind this. But it's a lighter grey than I was expecting. That's got magnets in it as well. That's also got just to show you, there's a battery, oops, and the speaker installed. So the speaker is here. See there on the bottom, there's a little red clip holding the cable in place, and then there's a battery. Both of those are double-sided tape stuck on to the case. Obviously, once everything's assembled, it all holds it together anyway. It's screwed together. Nothing will shift, but double-sided tape there anyway. Yes, I'm shipping this is going to be the first products I ship with a battery inside them. It's going to be interesting. It's added a lot of complications for the process, for the production and the shipping of, but we'll get to that. So that's blue and grey. I was trying to find a retro color. I've got a few colors. I haven't printed the other two yet. This one here. That is not a final case. It's missing a feature, so it was printed before I made a change, but that's okay. The beige, it is cool, but it's not. It's closer to a computer case beige, like an old PC clone beige, than it is a retro. And I really wanted a retro color. There's a company that actually makes filament specifically as, like, everyone says it's the exact color of the Commodore 64C, so that lighter color, and they've also got one that's like the original breadboard, darker, right? Hey Bruce. But it's quite expensive. You can only buy it directly from them, and it works out to more than double the price of a reel or filament than like the Bamboo Labs matte, and that I can get locally. You know, I can get within 2 or 3 days if I need, or even quicker if I go to a distributor. The colorblind among us know what we're getting. Sure. It's not terrible. It's not. What I really wanted was the Commodore Amiga color, the original, like the 1000 and the 500, 1200, whatever. That was almost the same color. It was a little bit lighter than the C64C. But again, I'm not going to pay. You know, it would make the cases really expensive, and I don't want to do. I don't want to overcharge people for a case just because the filament is 3 times the price, right? It's 3 times right. It's double the price, and it comes from overseas, from the UK, I think, and so I have to pay for expensive shipping on it because it's heavy. Anyway, so there's beige. I'm printing an orange at the moment, which looks terrible because it's more like a. You'll see. I was hoping for a matte sunburnt orange. It's not this. So I have a darker grey coming, which I'll have a look at. I also have matte white coming for Alan because Alan really likes the white. So I have a matte white on the way. It might even be here today, most likely tomorrow. And a lot more matte black because I'm out of matte black now. Like I've only got a little bit left. I've been printing lots of stuff. So I will offer multiple colors in the cases. All of the docks are going to be, and all of, so every SQUiXL ships with a USB adapter. I know we've been through all this, but anyway. So USB magnetic adapter sits perfectly flush on the table, which is great. So you connect your USB that way, and that's how, well, it doesn't ship like that, but that's what you get. So all of these, no matter what color case you get, it's a matte black connector. Because I'm not doing multicolors of those. It's just too hard, mix and match. They're all mass produced, right? So, yeah. And the dock, the same thing, they're all going to be matte black. I don't think I'm going to offer colored docks. Because again, it's one thing to have to, you know, someone orders a beige case and I have no beige cases, so I can spin up a case in an hour and a half and have that done and ready, right, to ship an order. But if I have to also spin up another color of a dock and another color of a connector, it's too much. And to be honest, like if I just grab, you know, here's the red, you know, it looks fine. Like a red one in a black dock works fine, just as a beige one. Whoa. There's no magnets on that, right? It'll stay in if I put it properly. There we go. Just like a beige one, they'll all fit. They'll all look nice in the black. The black is just consistent, right? So I'm going to do black. So this has all been finalized. The dock has been finalized. How I'm shipping it, that's going to be an interesting problem, which we'll get to. It's going to have to ship partially apart because it's too tall. I need it to fit in a particular type of box. It's too tall, but it's designed to be assembled. But I haven't decided yet if I'm going to pre-assemble half of it, like pre-assemble the base and everything, and then just ship like that, and then you just slide that in and you put 2 screws in, or if I'm going to ship it fully in 3 pieces. I haven't decided yet. It's quite heavy, even without all of the hardware. So it's designed to fit M10 nuts inside. You can see there's lots of holes. There's 6 holes at the bottom. So that the bottom 4 and these 2 here, you don't have to. I'm not shipping them with the nuts because it's too much weight. Like it'll up the shipping rate to the next tier when people can buy M10 nuts for peanuts, right? Locally. You can get them from any hardware store, any whatever. So I'm not going to ship it with those, but the rest of it will be ready to go. But there's a lot of, you know, that's for adding weight to it, but it doesn't need it. Maybe, I don't know. And then there's also rubber feet. I've only got the clear ones. I've ordered black ones and they never arrived from AliExpress. Anyway, I don't know if I'm going to ship them stuck on or if I'll just stick a sheet. There's 5 of them to get stuck on at the bottom. That's to stop slipping. Anyway, yeah, I still have to work that out specifically. Okay, I need to put these back in their right places. So I haven't started printing these yet, a batch of them, because I don't have enough filament. This is like a 2.5 hour print for one dock. Okay, so I've got stuff in various states of assembly. So here is a SQUiXL that has the screen and the PCB stuck together, right, with an antenna on it. So for those might remember, I moved to an external antenna. Cool, Bruce. You can't buy them here now, like the end of June wait time. But they're just, I don't know, I've looked at it a couple of times, it's just too much money. And like, of all the reviews I'm seeing, you know, most people are saying, I mean, it prints fantastic, and it's got the cleanest color changing, you know, between for multicolor and multi-material and all that type of stuff. But pretty much everyone that I've watched that's reviewed it said, for all its great features and everything else like that, compared to the X1 Carbon, is it worth the extra money? No, is what basically people are saying. But like, if you don't have an X1 Carbon, maybe, but you know, apart from the color changing, the X1 Carbon really is great. Anyway, I'd love to. I can't justify it. My expectation is I'm going to sell a very low number of these, and so it's not like I have to pre-print 500 cases or anything, right? Where I need a, you know, bigger printing capacity. Anyway, so that's assembled. So it's got a magnetic connector soldered on the bottom, which is done manually, obviously, not through the pick and place machine. And then it's got a haptic motor that's soldered to the side, and the antenna is on. That's ready to go in a case. So I've got a couple like that, but then I've got a bunch sitting on my desk here that are exactly the same, but the screens are not attached yet. So I thought I'd show you my process. There is a double-sided tape there ready to go. I'm not overdoing the double-sided tape on them. This tape's really, really good. And at the end of the day, it doesn't require that bond to hold it together. It's screwed together, right? But I'll show you my process of sticking that down. Lots of revisions on a jig for that, but I've got that nailed, which is really good. Gives me perfect pasta every time. And then I've got a bunch of boards still here that they all enumerate, right? They've all been tested for enumeration, but they've got no magnetic connectors on yet, which means they can't be tested any other way. The way I test them like that is I made one of the little, instead of magnetic, I've got pogos on them. So I can plug the USB in, and then I can lay the board on top, that way, lay the board on top of this, and yeah, anyway, can't do it that way. And then I can power it up, I can check everything, I can flash it, make sure it enumerates, and then I'll solder the connector on. I don't want to solder a connector on and then find out that there's a problem with the board, then I might have to rework it, because it makes it really hard to rework when there's a through-hole connector facing the other direction on there, because I can't sit it flat anymore. So I've got those here. It's in that state. Oh, you sold your X1 Carbon. Okay, cool. Whole bunch of USB-C dock. Ready to go in the dock. They've all got magnetic connectors on them, which is great. Unfortunately, I have a bunch of screens that don't work. They're faulty, which really sucks. That's going to limit the number of these that I can ship on the first batch. I've spoken to the supplier. He's willing to swap them out. He's willing to, he won't send me, there are 6 of them confirmed. I think it's 8, but there are 6 confirmed between him and me that are faulty, that need to be replaced. He won't ship me just 6. He'll give me a refund on them, but I lose out on the shipping and the tax. He'll refund me the price per item, but you know, I have to pay tax on top of that through AliExpress, and then there's a shipping component, right? So I don't want to do that, because I'm going to lose, you know, 4 or $5 a screen doing that. So he's agreed he'll ship me replacement for those 6 when I order my next batch. And ordering my next batch is dependent on seeing how well these go to start with. So yeah, that's a bit annoying. I was really hoping to have that whole 20 ready to go. So I've got those sitting there. Okay, so I know there's lots to talk about. Packaging. So this is a bit dirty. This dirty box, because you can see there's grubby fingers been all over it. I've been manhandling it with whatever. But I'm going to switch cameras. I'm going to go to here. You can see there's been a few changes on this as well, but I'll show you that in a moment. But what I want to show you is, this is how they're going to be packaged. This is very cool. So because I'm shipping with a battery, it needs to be shipped. The device has to be shipped with the battery, must be connected, so it can't be separate. And the device must be switched off. So if your device can't be switched off, you can't ship it with a battery, right? It must be switched off, and there must be no possible way that it can be accidentally turned on, like be getting squished together or something. So I've had to keep all that in mind. Plus, there's a very big screen, and I want to protect it. And so I've gone overboard, as I normally do, with my packaging. So there will be it'll be a clean box. Seriously. There'll be a nice logo on here. I was trying to find black. I can't find black in this size unless I do a custom order of like 1,000 boxes, and I'm pretty sure I'm not going to sell 1,000 of these. So it comes in a box like this with a nice thing, and then when you open it up, it's the first time I'm opening it up like this, by the way. There will be a card.
Says how much for the dirty box? It has to be more expensive.
Oh, double the price at least. So there will be like a color printed insert card, but open up. Dun, dun, dun. Oh god, that lighting is terrible. Anyway, we have SQUIXL by Unexpected Maker, and when we take it out, it's foam, right? EVA foam. There is a screen and a connector inside, and take it out. So I've done I don't know if I'm going to glue them or not, but it's a multi-layered EVA foam solution where the device sits inside, and there's this little support here that the buttons are on that side, and there is no, like I've tried, like I've borderline damaging the screen. I've tried to make it turn on by pushing, and I can't make it turn on. So if something lands on the box that's a ton and squishes it all together and it turns on, there's nothing I can do about that because they damaged it. Thanks Grindor, thanks Andy Mouse. What about the EU cardboard packaging directive? Hey Gustus, nothing I can do about that. I don't have $2,000 to do cardboard packaging tooling, and when I'm doing a limited run of things, cardboard packaging isn't an option for me. And this is EVA foam. It breaks down. It's least bad for the environment. Anyway, so that is how it ships. I wanted a black box. I think it would be much nicer with a black box. And then I have to work out how I'm going to ship the dock, which is obviously, as I mentioned before, I'll be selling the dock as a separate item. Not everyone needs a dock. But, I made something else cool. Let's go back to here. Just a second. So we've got the little connector, because not everyone is going to want a dock, depending on what you want to do with it, right? Because there's a big battery in there, and if the idea is you want to carry it around and use it whatever you want to, and you just need to charge it or whatever, occasionally flash it, whatever, then you've got that, right? I've got the dock for people that want to have it sitting on their desk and make it usable and viewable on their desk. And it had been asked a while ago about, well, I want to mount it on the wall. Like, what about the wall? I can't remember who it was. There was a few people. That's okay. It was very valid. Very valid. I always had an idea for the wall. I have prototyped it out. I have not done the electronics side of it yet, of how that's going to work. Happy to discuss it with everyone. But I've designed, and it's in blue for the moment, I've designed this. Da-da-da. Okay, as I said, there's no electronics inside. There's no way to get electronics inside right now. Okay, but this is, I'll do the red one because this is designed to be mounted to a wall. It's got screw holes, or I guess it could be double-sided taped to a fridge. I don't know about magnets on the back. That's up to you guys, because, you know, these have got a bit of weight on them, right? But there is this, and it is designed to hold this. And there is no, I'm just going to do it. So I put it in, and there it is. It's in there. It's got little things on the side that you can grab, yeah, and pull out. So the reason I redesigned the case, that just finished, yay, I'll be able to show you the orange one, is I put a slot.
Cian, Chad has disconnected.
Oh, it's back. I put a slot in every case now for the explicit reason to be a locking mechanism for future options for cases that aren't a gravity-based thing, right? So there's a little, you might not be able to see, inside the top thing. So it goes in, and it uses the magnets to hold it in. And look at this. I better put my hand there anyway. Like, that is not coming out. That is not falling out. Someone can put it on the fridge, slam the fridge, and it's not going to come out. And this is only being held by those three magnets right now, not the magnetic connector, because I don't have the matching magnetic connector in here because there's no electronics yet, right? So that magnetic connector is actually way stronger than those three magnets. So that's all being held together just from those three magnets. How cool is that? So it'll be even more. To the point, it's actually quite hard to pull this out, like, because of the magnetic force, right? So, wall mount, I guess there could be now different variations of this that could be for all sorts of attachment purposes. Could be a thing that goes in your car, maybe like or something on an arm, articulated arm. They could have this there. But anyway, that was my solution. I just have to spend some time working on how that's going to work. A discussion I had, I see it as a domotic, I don't know what a domotic interface is. I don't know what that is, Yombo. Please explain. So we were thinking about no USB. Yeah, but I don't know what domotic, what does domotic mean? Oh, I can look it up in a moment. So thinking about no USB, like you don't have a USB cable going to your fridge or your wall. So thinking that it could be a magnetic connector that goes to a screw terminal that just has power. Like you wouldn't want to be putting it in here to flash it on your fridge with a cable, right? And something else I'll show you shortly, you don't need a cable. So I'm not sure yet whether it's going to be I don't think it's going to be a USB interface. I think it'll just be some wires that you screw in, just 5 volts you screw in. But anyway, we can, oh, right. Is that, okay, right. So it's a home automation thing, sure. Okay. Yeah. absolutely. So I'm excited about that. That worked second time. The first time, I forgot, I didn't give it enough tolerance, and it was too tight to get it in. Like it doesn't have to be tight, right? Because the locking mechanism, it's not being held by friction. So the locking mechanism, right, it doesn't require, anyway. So that's exciting. Yeah. This print just finished. Let me just grab it. Yeah, this is more like... Bit of red filament. What? I didn't even print red with this last. Okay, anyway. So this is actually, it looks that looks really nice on camera. It looks a bit different on camera than what it does. I think it's maybe because of the black here. Let me get it off. Should have left that there. This is the orange. I was hoping for it as like a sunburnt orange. This is more tangerine-y, maybe. Like it's okay, but I'm not sure that's going to look nice. I don't want to offer colors just for the sake of offering it, right? If no one's going to choose them, if no one's going to want them. Yeah, there was some red. Somehow some red got into that. But I haven't printed red for like 3 days on there. That's interesting. Anyway, that's another color, possibly. I don't think so. So here is my screen attachment jig. So let's stick one of those on. I'll stick a couple of them on, and I'll show you how that works. Oh, I got some stuff to show you on the device as well. Anyway, so I mean, this is obviously attached right now. We'll remove the screen, right? So the PCB. So the camera's on a weird angle, so I can kind of see down a bit, right? So this gets inserted into the guide holes like that. Doesn't move. We take this. I was really like, it took me a few shots to get this right because this has to be perfect. If this isn't perfect, it can't be moved around afterwards, right? It's just one of those things. Anyway, like that, and literally just get the screen into the corner and put it down. And that's it. Done. Screen is attached. Get out of the mounting holes. The screen is now in its exact perfect position for mounting in the case. So now all I have to do is just plug this back in again. I like doing it when it's on the table so I can not push the screen. And mounted. Yay. So that, as I said, like it was like once the screen's on, if it's not right, it's a problem. It really is a problem. It's a problem to move it and shift it. So that's how I mount the screens. And then as you can see here, there's the electronics. Sorry, the electronics. There's the battery and thing. Let's get one of these in. I'll show you how I put those. So this is fiddly. I might have some trouble doing this under a camera. Like this is actually, my hands are stretched out all the way. You can see here, right? So it's quite far away from me. I don't know if I'll be able to, maybe I can move it closer to me. Hang on, let me see if I can move this just temporarily. Moving camera up, folks. Okay, that's a bit easier. So, as I said, the speaker gets clipped down these come around. Got to plug these in so the speaker goes into here. Yeah, this is, I got to, now the camera's in my way. The camera is between my face and the board, which, you know, not great. Okay, that's the speaker. I'm going to get the battery in. Okay, speaker is in, battery is in. The haptics there slots into the groove just in there. You can see there's a bit of a groove, but that happens as it's going in. So the antenna is a tricky thing, little tricky. So the antenna goes into the top slot, and there's a bit of friction to get it in. So it's up top like that, and then it needs to get fed back through the second slot. So again, everything is in my way right now. So normally I could do this with one hand, but now I can't. It goes back through the second slot. So it's there, it comes around, right? Anyway, like that. And then it's now moved. The magnetic connector goes in first at the bottom. And then the top, I have to be careful. This is where I can't do it under the camera. The haptics needs to get put into the slot a little bit, like that, and then just pushing the screen in pushes the haptics into the slot. And that's it. That is now together. And it gets screwed. So now, 2 6mm and 2 4mm screws. Isn't this exciting? Find where I put my screwdriver, the correct screwdriver. Oh, come on. Shouldn't have tidied this morning. No, not that one. Oh, that one. Okay. So I normally do small ones first. So they can be disassembled. The tricky thing is when you disassemble it, the top of the screen has to come out first because the magnetic needs to get pulled out last, and you just need to disconnect the speaker and battery to make them lie totally flat next to each other. And I did not check this case properly. And I did not remove some of the support in here. Let me just grab that now. It's okay, it'll just snap off. There we go. That one there and that one there. Okay. The support material, and then that's it. We have a finished. Can't get out any further. And that should turn on, but that's got old firmware, I think. Maybe SQUIXL. Ooh, buzz, buzz, buzz in my hand. That's the haptics going. And look at that. It boots saying, hey, you got a SQUIXL. Congratulations. Ooh, this reflection is terrible. SQUIXL requires access to the internet. So a captive portal has been launched for you to set up your Wi-Fi credentials. Join the SQUIXL Wi-Fi app on your phone or tablet, select your Wi-Fi SSID, enter your password, then click connect. You'll only see this message once, but the captive portal will remain running until you set up your Wi-Fi. You can skip this now by tapping the screen. So if you want to set it up now, it'll actually, if I just put that down, I can grab my phone and go to my Wi-Fi settings. Did that? Oh, I didn't mean to touch it. Shit. Oh no, I didn't want to touch it. Right, as you saw, right, so you can get in, right, and you don't have to set up your Wi-Fi, but anything that uses the internet isn't going to work, right? So no jokes come up because that's internet based. The weather won't work, but you need to set up your API key anyway. Even the time, it won't grab the time without the internet, right? But anyway, I wonder if this has got old firmware. Hang on, if I reset it. So on the back, it's got power, B for boot, R for reset. If this got old firmware, it might go back to that screen again. Damn it, it didn't. Okay, it's not that old. Bummer. Anyway, the message on the bottom where it said waiting, it actually shows you what's happening. Hey, Rob. I hope you're well, mate. So like when you do your scan and you connect to it, like if I connect to SQUiXL right now, right, and it goes into the captive portal and shows you everything, it actually shows you a message that says scanning on the bottom, then it says found how many networks, and then when you type your thing in, it says connecting, right? The same thing happens now, but it doesn't show you the message when you're on this screen. Okay. So the Wi-Fi manager stuff's been added, is basically what I was trying to show you, which is pretty cool. Let me just turn this off. It's off. So let's go back to this one, except now I need to move the camera again. Now we're not looking down anymore. I'm just going to move this camera. Okay, moving camera, folks. No one freak out. Oh my God, if I can do it. Need a better articulated arm. Isn't that's a bit messy behind my desk, but that, whatever, who cares? Let me just lock this in place. Maybe turn it the right way. Okay, and focus it. Okay, so this is I haven't done a lot of work on the firmware over the last week. A little bit, but not a lot, because I've been focusing on how I'm going to manufacture everything, right? I've been focusing on, you know, designing the product packaging, the assembly process, you know, assembly jigs, testing jigs. I've got soldering jigs over there for putting connectors on and all sorts of stuff. So I've been trying to get that process working. But I have made some changes. You can see, so the Wi-Fi thing, it shows you your IP address now. Battery, when you're docked, it shows you a percentage, but obviously if you undock it. Now, this is my original one. So we've still got this is the first case. That magnet I can't get out, and it's the wrong direction for the dock. This was done a long time ago before I even had a finished dock, just to check that it fit. I can't get it out, not without damaging the case. And so when I connect this on, sometimes it doesn't link properly because that magnet is pushing this one away, which is not a great combo. But anyway, so now I'm holding it. You can see that it's now showing me again my IP address because I'm connected, and then it shows me my voltage, percentage, and what current speed I'm at. Let me put it back on here. So getting it lined up is hard because that's trying to attract and that's trying to push away. So what are the changes? Well, the main one, the fact that it's got an IP address for the moment, is that if I go to here, SQUiXL now has a web interface. So you can go to squixl.local, or you can go to the IP address that it shows you. And so this is what I've got in here at the moment for settings. You've got your MQTTs, or some of them. That still needs to be expanded for the multiple topic stuff. There's my key, whatever. It's got open weather settings in here, so you can enter your stuff there. Haptic settings, which isn't being respected right now, other than the enabled yes or no. Audio settings is not being respected yet. Whatever, we'll get to that. Time mode isn't either. And I've got a thing for case color. So the idea is that you can, if you pick your case, like if you've got a red case and you pick red, then I'll theme everything in red. Maybe, yeah, whatever. So there is a web interface now. That happens automatically for you. And you can leverage that if you're writing firmware or anyway, whatever. So that's cool. That's new. Also new is I completely reworked the UI controls from last week. So have I still got... Oh, I do. Changing color. Oh. Larry thought he fixed that, but that's still not fixed. Now let me get to a color that's going to work better. Where's the blue? Give me a blue. Red. It's hard to see. Okay, I'll have to stay on grey. That's fine. Larry thought he fixed that cache issue, but it's not. It's not clearing the cache properly. So, although this isn't fully working yet, I'm adding the ability to have over-the-air updates. So you'll be able to click over-the-air updates as on, and you'll be able to flash it remotely. Over-the-air updates will be running all the time. You'll have a device called SQUIXL in your list. You'll be able to see it in Arduino or Platform.io or whatever else, and you'll be able to flash it, assuming you're running this firmware, right? It won't be there if you're just making your own firmware, but for this firmware, over-the-air will be there. So that's been added. I got the sliders working properly now. That's actually pulling the pole interval off open weather, and these are actually bound. All of these are bound to the settings. So these are not using callbacks. What you see in there, so the 12-hour, 24-hour time format, the 10, the 300, the pole interval, that is not set up in the control. That is pulled from the setting. So the same thing that is showing the web information. So I'll just go back to here for a second. So you can see here, pole interval, min, and the slider. And here, pole interval, min, and the slider, right? So if I go to, it won't happen, actually. Maybe, okay. So if I set this to 280, okay, yeah, it won't update that yet because it's already been created. I still have to get that working. Let's do it a different way. Let me refresh this page. Right, it's on 10. If I set it here to 200, right, and I refresh the page here, it's on 200. They're linked. They're linked via the setting. But where's the pink LED? Yeah, no pink LED. So I've still got a lot of work to do, but the fact that they're connected now and whatever, all through one set of settings code is pretty cool. Anyway, I think it's pretty cool, but bit to do. And then obviously there's my API key. So right now, so that's a text box. Actually, if I go back to here, clear that. So if I click on the text box, show virtual keyboard for open weather API key. So I'm planning on making a virtual keyboard that you can maybe, if it works okay, you can edit things directly on the device. I don't know. I'm still playing with all this firmware stuff. So I've done a fair bit. And the other thing is the layout of this is automatic now, or you can give it pixel coordinates, but these are not pixel coordinates. So what it actually is you pass it now, you say create on grid. So there's a default grid layout. So you've got, there's 4 values here. So you've got column, row, column span, row span. So the OTA updates, right, is, and by the way, these values here, they don't need to be used anymore. If you look at the pole interval, right, I'm not passing it a minimum or a maximum value or a step or a title. I just haven't gone through and updated the rest of this code yet, right? It grabs it all from this setting, this options data setting, right? Anyway, So you can see on this one here, I'm telling it to go column 1. So there's 3 columns, 0, 1, and 2. There's 6 rows. And it's because basically I could probably get them much tighter and add more, but it becomes harder to click on. Like some people got fat fingers, right? But as you can see here, I start this at column 1 and row 1, so it's here, and the span is 2 columns and 1 row. So that's that there, right? And then down here, I'm starting at 0 at row 2, and I'm spanning 3 by 1. I could change that to 2, and it'll be double height. So you can position UI wherever you want, but this just allows you to easily lay things out in a nice, neat way. So I've been doing lots of stuff, as I said, behind the scenes, but this has really all been about how do I ship them? How do I get this to the point where I can ship? I've started on the product page. I've got all my pricing there. I know people are waiting to find out how much it's going to cost. It's not public yet, the product page. I haven't started populating a GitHub repo yet. I think what's going to happen is I'm going to release the first batch, maybe of 10 of them or something, with the very strict understanding that they're not beta. The hardware's final. The hardware's not changing. I've got a couple of ideas of some things that I could tweak to the hardware for a version 2, but there won't be any functional changes, right? So no one has to worry about, version 1, version 2, and, what features will version 2 have, whatever. But under the proviso that what you're getting is a finished bit of hardware and very light on the software support. Oh, hey Peter, I didn't even see you there. Hello. Back to the world of normalcy. What, you finished packing or you've moved? So that's what I'm thinking I'm going to do for people that want one and want to start playing with it, but on the understanding that the software that's shipping with it is very much a work in progress. And so my plan is to have a whole bunch of just basic examples, right? A SQUiXL library that you can load in Platform.io or Arduino, really basic features. None of all the stuff I'm showing right now. It won't have all the, the screens and the sliding and the blah blah. That's all functionality on top of the library. But a basic library that you can, if you flash, it boots up, and then have some examples like this is how you draw stuff to the screen. This is how you, move stuff around on the screen. This is how you can choose different fonts, like whatever, like just a basic launch pad of different things you can do, right? Like this is how you go to the internet, grab some data, put it on the screen. And I want those to be able to work in Platform.io or Arduino. And then there'll be that other firmware that I'm working on that'll be a continuous thing that I'll keep adding stuff to, as I don't know why, just it's my experimental platform for doing stuff on it. Maybe at some point there'll be MicroPython support. I don't know. I've spoken to Matt Trentini. He spoke to Damien George about adding support for the RGB peripheral. That's the thing that's missing in MicroPython. You can't talk to the screen. You need it because it goes via the peripheral. It's only available on the ESP32S3, and it's a low level, like an IDF level thing, and so it needs to be exposed in MicroPython to be able to make stuff display on the screen. Once that's done, then there can be MicroPython support. Technically, right now there can be CircuitPython support, but it needs a custom. It needs not only a custom firmware version of CircuitPython for it, but it needs a modified version of their support for these screens because they do it. Their hardware is different. They wire it up differently and whatever. So I need a version of that. So the main thing is with it is that the way you initialize the screen at the start, I do it through bit banging through an I/O expander because I don't have enough. Excuse me, there aren't enough I/O on the S3 to be able to hook up the SPI just to initialize the screen and then never use those I/O anymore, right? So I do it through I bit bang it through an I/O expander, which means it needs custom software to be able to launch the screen, which is in my library. I need to replicate that on all the different platforms. Adafruit do something similar, but they use a different I/O expander and they have different, obviously, pins set up and different other things, and the way they hook it all together is different. So their software as is won't just work on this screen, but it can be modified to work on this. So down the line, I hope to have MicroPython and CircuitPython support as well, and then Platform IO and Arduino, but the fully fleshed out, not my software, but the fully fleshed out library. So, full audio support, full, everything else, haptics, blah, 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 will all be in Platform IO, because doing that type of stuff in Arduino is like you'll have 100 files on tabs on your project. Anyway, making a published library for Arduino for a one-off product where it can't be used on any other hardware, right? Anywhere I'm not going to do that. That doesn't make any sense. To publish a library like that, it'll have to be done a bit differently. Wow, lots of rambling. So yeah, we have now moved. It's been a long time since I've worked so hard physically. My body needs time out. Yes, need to chill out and relax. And then you need to start setting up your new shed. I assume you have a new shed. You better have a new shed. Someone asked if a particular cable will work with my SQUiXL. Let me just, will this open up? Let's look at this cable. Don't know how that's wired. That one here. Nope, not that one. That one. So this is a USB cable that's got a connector on it. So the answer is, I don't know. This is in Discord, someone posted. I don't know, because I don't know what the pin numbering is, or if what the spacing is. Specifications, let's look. Great, color black, length. What about the numbering, the pin numbering? Does it say? No. Oh, hang on. Oh, no, they're just indicators. There's not. Oh, no, there could be a plus and a minus. Yeah, no, I don't know. So the answer, Akvaj's question, I'll reply back to him in Discord later. I don't know if that'll work. If that's compatible. I've got some other USB cables kind of like this here. They kind of line up, but they don't. But it ships with this. Like, I ship it with that, so that solves your problem. Like, you don't need a cable like that at all. So Gustavs wants to know how much will it cost. That much, yes, it'll cost. I don't know. I haven't mentioned how much it costs yet. I was going to wait for people to find out when they go to the product page when it launches. Is that so bad? It's under $1,000. I'd like to know, what do you all think this should cost? How's that? That's dangerous. Absolutely dangerous. Oops, wrong way. dangerous question to ask, I know. How much do you think SQUiXL should cost? Oops, not that one. That one. What do you all think? I'm not going to do a poll because that's stupid. I'm just curious to know. Yeah, see, that's not helpful. It was a serious question, Alan. I mean, you don't have to answer it, but let's just say that the pricing on this thing has no reflection. Okay, Alan started off at $199. He went from $2 to $199. That's a bit of a range jump. So I'm trying to get a clip in while I'm sitting here. So this is probably one of the hardest things to do in the whole. Okay, we've got some guesses coming in. Hello, Ryan. $500 US. Enough to make some profit? No one will really buy it then. This does not conform to the the 2 times or 2.5 times the BOM cost thing. To make a bit of fair profit, $59.99. Really? Really? That is less than my BOM cost. Just letting you know, Quindor. Six times the BOM. The screens are $13 each. $13 US just for the screen. Just to get that little red clip in, yeah? I mean, admittedly, I was, not really focused on what I was doing just then. But, yeah, painful. But, okay, so let's go through the feature list. So there's a screen, ESP32 S3 R8, 16 mega flash. It's got an external low power RTC. It's got haptics, like motor and driver. It's got fuel gauge. It's got I2S audio amplifier and a speaker. It's got ships with a battery. It's got magnetic connectors, 2 sides, right? It's got lovely printed case, magnets, screws, surface mount standoffs, SD card, slot. What have I missed? Yeah, battery charging, blah, 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 blah. There's a fair few peripherals on there. No pink. So, and then you also have to consider the fact that this is not a high volume product. So I'm not buying reels of 2000 of the S3 R8. I'm buying them in lots of 100. So they cost more. And all the components I'm buying in lower quantities, unless it's something I'm already using for other things, like my flash or whatever. But, like the PWM charge IC and the specific inductor and stuff I'm using, they're all at low quantity. And yeah, I mean, let's, not even talk about my time in designing. Oh yeah, and an external antenna and whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's there's a lot of BOM there. Um it may be super high volume, or the buyers will be super high. What? I'm not quite sure I understand that. I'm just putting a blue one together. So okay, so we have a pretty varying range of people's guesses. So the price is going to be $99. Or not going to be. The price is $99 for a SQUIXL and USB connector in the box like I showed before. Yikes, too cheap. Well, I'm also, you know, although feature parity are not the same in any way, there are other products on the market that I'm competing against as well. Let's just say at $99, I don't think I'm going to sell a lot of them, and I'm not going to make enough money to really justify any of the time I've spent. Make 100. My plan was to make 20 to start with. I don't think I'm going to sell many of them, because it's one of those things where, when will they be available? Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm building the first batch now. Like I finished the product packaging this morning at 5 o'clock this morning. I laser cut the last part. I was here at 5 o'clock this morning because I wanted to show everyone. Did buy a C display that is not nearly as nice. Like, there are other products out there that you know have this screen, but they don't have the range of peripherals or whatever, or they don't have battery support. They're not designed for a battery. They're designed to be whatever. Here's the thing, and it's kind of the same with a lot of my non-development board products, right? As much as I love to design things that aren't a tiny Pico, a tiny S3, a Feather S3, you know, aren't a development board that gets sold raw in a bag. Yeah, as much as I like working on stuff like this, I find this more fulfilling. The fact is, I lose money in all of the things like this I do, like my RGB touch, like this, like all the, you know, my my bling, all those things I've lost money on, because they're the type of thing that people go, wow, that's really nice. Look at all that, you know, look how nice and polished it is, blah, 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 blah. You know, that'd be great. I could use it for, and then they go, oh, actually, you know what? If it was $20, sure, I'd buy it and I might get to it eventually. I'll stick it in my drawer. I might code that thing. I might not code that thing. But for $100, knowing that it won't do anything for them unless they write software for it, because it's not a consumer product that ships with everything like a phone, right? Then they go, you know what? For $100, I know I'll never get around to actually writing the software, so I'm not going to buy one. I'll skip it. Maybe one day, if I have the time to write some software for it, you know, I'll do it. That's the problem with something like this. So unless I provide all of the software solution for everyone's use case, it's one of those things. It's still a development item. Like, it's either something that someone plays with the software I provide, and then it's got no purpose, or they have to write their own software, and that makes it a barrier. That's what I believe anyway. And so I'd love to be proven wrong, but I just don't think I'm going to sell many of them. And you know, I'm polishing it to be as nice. Like, none of you have seen one in real life, right? Like, it's I don't know, maybe you'll think it looks better or worse in real life. I don't know. But like, I think it's great. That's me. Whatever. Like, I've I even sent some case designs off to JLC PCB to get some nylon some nylon and resin cases made just to see what they're like. Obviously I can't do color if I do that, but you know, these are still 3D printed cases. You can tell they're 3D printed cases. They're nice. They're probably the nicest 3D printed cases I've made in terms of their design and their look. But ultimately, you can still tell that they're 3D printed. You know, it's so yeah, it's like that's where my brain is at. That's where I'm thinking. I'm going to assemble this one. We can do it back on the camera. I don't know. That's kind of where I'm thinking things are at. That it's. Oh yeah, and then the dock will be 25. If you want a dock, it's $25. And you might think, well, why is the dock so expensive? Well, the dock actually has, again, a bit of cost to it. And the fact is, it's, you know, 2.5 hours of printing time per dock, plus filament, plus, you know, heat inserts, nuts, little feet, PCB, testing, packaging, shipping. Like, we won't even go into what one of these boxes cost. Like, this box with this foam laser cut in here, I'm like losing $10 per product I sell for the box. All right, just for the box. There's $4.50 of box and EVA foam before I laser cut it. You know, things cost money, unfortunately. Things cost money to make and ship. And that's the problem with designing product. Because if you can't get it to scale, then you can't make any money off it. But if I was doing this to make money off it, I wouldn't be doing this business. I'm talking about this product, right? Like, this is 80% like a project of love, and 20% I'd really like to, you know, at least recoup my costs on it. But that's never really going to happen. Okay, I've just got it all. I'm just getting it all assembled while I'm talking to you all. So, yeah. So $99. I was hoping to make it $89. I think that's a nicer number, but I can't. At $89, at $99, depending on how things go, like, I'm not going to do it initially, but I might have some wiggle room on my second batch or something, that if people want to buy more than one, I might be able to, you know, knock $5 off. But Kickstarter, try to get those costs down. No, Kickstarter won't work because, again, it's not like a phone where there's software on it. It's not shipping with any software. Like it's not a consumer product. Yeah. So it's just not. Yeah. It's not on the cards that this is ever going to be a quantity thing. It's like my watch. I mean, that's what I was trying to think of before. Like, tiny watch. Like, you know, 4 hardware revisions, like public hardware revisions. 4? 1, 2, no, 3. Why is this not going in? Sorry, 1 second. I've got. Oh, there's a little bit of 3D print in the way. Interesting. That's it. Okay, it's fine. Like, I've only sold about 50 watches. No, maybe 60 watches, I think. Definitely less than 100. Way less than 100 watches. Like, I make like 15, $20 a watch. $20 a watch I make. No, $15, $20 Australian. Let's say $15 US a watch I make. And let's say I've sold 80. So That's $1,200. When I say I make, that's my profit on top of my costs without my time. So $1,200 I've made to cover my time and all of my R&D and development and 500 hours of firmware writing and everything else. I've been paid like $1,200 for. Hardly worthwhile. Right? Hey, Christopher's. Thank you. Got inspired by your smartwatch, and I'm developing my own based on the. Yeah, like I'm. My products like that are as much about giving and sharing as they are whatever. But I legitimately lose money on it. Like I the last time I tried to work it out, like if you look at not my time, but just money sunk in my hardware revisions and prototypes and testing and damaging of screens in the process and whatever. Like I've probably lost about 5 or 6,000 US dollars on the Tiny Watch project to date, not including all my time sunk. It's like one of those things. It's I wish it wasn't that way, but I can say, hey, I designed a watch. I can say, hey, I designed a SQUIXL. I mean, you can see how long it's taken me to assemble one. Okay, admittedly, I'm talking while I'm doing it, but there's no part of this process that makes it really any faster. Like, it takes time to get this into the case, right? Like, what's my time worth putting these things together? And don't say ship them unassembled. I can't. They can't be shipped unassembled. They'd get destroyed. How would I ship something that had just wires and stuff hanging everywhere? And I can't ship it with batteries. And this is designed to work with a specific size battery that fits everything in together to keep it as small as possible. I'm sure people really understand how much it costs to develop something, multiple prototypes. Yeah, exactly. And not just that, just the time sunk in it. Investment. Like it's I'm not complaining. So I hope people don't listen to this as me ranting or whatever. Like if I really had a problem with it, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't take these things on. But then I'd never get to make something like this. Hey, Johnny. Like I'd never get to, like some of it is me learning. Like I've never worked with a screen like this before. I had to work out a charge pump, PWM thing. I had to get all this hardware talking to each other. Never even considered, how do I, having to bit bang SBI through an IO expander. My first time using, oh yeah, forgot about the IO Mux on the bomb list. There's an IO Mux on here as well. Like I've never worked with an IO Mux before and having to work out how I can share IO and the right IO to get, how do I get my original design of this had a magnetic buzzer, single IO buzzer to go beep beep whatever, but now it's got full I2S audio, so it can stream audio from the net. I can make it talk and whatever. Like it's way more versatile, but I had to get that working with the SD card sharing IO. Like a lot of technical things I had to solve to get this working. So that's learning for me, right? That's anytime I get to work on something new, that's broadening my skill set, broadening my horizons. You know what I mean? So there's value in that for me, but it's also it's a satisfaction thing. Like I could have dreamed about, I wonder what cool product I could make with these screens. I could make such a great product, but I never do it, so I never know. Right? Could I really? What would it look like? How, can I solve all the problems? Well, I did it, right? That's worth something. But I still have to pay the bills. and that's a challenge. It's honestly a challenge. and it's just getting worse. Like by the way, I've not even considered issues from the tariffs on my BOM cost. This is BOM cost pre-tariff. There's already a couple of components that have doubled in price since I did my costing. I haven't needed to buy more of them yet. I have enough here for 100 boards, 100 things. And if I don't sell as many as I think I'm going to, whatever, then I'll never have to worry about that BOM cost increase. But there's that on the horizon as well, right? HI live feed, ring bell camera will be my first usage. Great. Are you going to open source your code so other people can leverage it as well? That's not me with a dig. That's just, because this is all going to be about software. Anyway, look, here's a grey one, finished grey one, my first finished grey one. I've got a few black ones. Here's a finished blue one, and there's a finished red one. And I think I'm going to do the white when it comes, a matte white. And that will be my lineup. Red, blue, black, grey, and white. That will be the 5 colours I offer. No, you can't get, well, actually you can. You can get matte pink. I'm not, sorry. If you want to pay an extra $29, no. If you want to pay an extra $35, Johnny, for a pink version, because I'll have to buy one whole filament reel of pink just to print one case just for you. White, it would look like cardboard box. Right. It will, or hopefully it will. Take my money. Okay, well, I'll print you a pink one, a matte pink one. I thought about purple. It's going to be kind of like the color, maybe the color of my logo right now. But, again, it's hundreds and hundreds of dollars of filament sitting there just for the off chance that someone wants that color, right? I used to do color cases for my Reflow Master before Reflow Master Pro, and it was a nightmare because no one would pick this color or this color, and everyone would pick this color or this color, but then occasionally someone would pick one of those, and I don't have one, and I have to do a print run to fulfill an order just of a single color. It's easier now with the Bamboo. This is back on the Prusa, so that was every single color change was changing filament and storing the filament and then having to dry the filament to reprint on it and stuff, right? A bit easier with the AMS now, but still, it's a pain. Okay. So it sounds like there are people that are going to be happy to buy one without my software being ready. So that's maybe good. That means I have to finish the product listing for it. Don't for me to hit the sack. Catch you later. Dave, thanks for joining. Seriously, black and white will likely be the colours for me. Black for the desk, white for the wall-mounted ones. What? How many do you need? For the wall-mounted ones. Sure. Okay. But, so with the wall-mounted ones, I know a lot of people joined late.
Super chat!
Johnny, you didn't have to do that, dude. I was making a joke about you paying for the filament. Although, hang on, wait. 269 sec, that's like 55 US cents, right? No, actually, I don't know how much that is. That was a joke. That was a bad joke. I have no idea how much that is. Probably 3 to 5. No, you won't, Rob. Don't be silly. See, that's just silly. That's silly. Sorry. So for those that joined late, did you miss this? You missed this bit? Or did you watch back to see it? Thank you for the super chat, Johnny. It was much appreciated. I will buy you. I will buy some pink filament, and I'll make some pink ones. I will. It's not like at the end of the day, if they don't sell, I could always take I could disassemble it and put it in a different color case, right? It's not like once it's assembled in the case, that's it. It's only screwed into the case. So it's not like I'm out of pink ones because, you know what I mean? Anyway, not for the cases I'm thinking of. Huh? What? Stupid app forced me to use the slider instead of typing in the amount. Oh, really? Glow in the dark. So this is my first prototype for my wall mount, for those that missed it before. What? Are these magnets not right? Uh-oh, did I get some magnets on backwards? No. Hang on. Why is that? It's not magneting on. So, folks, just give me a second. That is. That is. That is. It's an old one. Why is this not magneting? That's not mag. Okay. If I put the magnets on back to front on this, I'll be very annoyed. That's, you know, very easy to do that. No? Oh, that middle ones are... Shit, two of them the wrong way around. They must have flipped. Oh my god. And they're glued in. They're glued in. Maybe I can pop them out. So I did leave... Actually, I'll show you. So these are the things you learn to do. Wow. I'm glad I checked that. That would have sucked. Let me just move my... Let me move the camera. I'll show you what I did. Sorry, moving... Oh, no. I'm not looking at the camera view right now. So I probably lost concentration or didn't see it flip. Okay. Camera. Focus. So. That is correct. These ones. But. That is pushing away. Look at that. And that is pushing away. These two are the wrong way around. So if I disassemble this, so I'll show you the things that you learn to do when you're prototyping so you don't lose a whole bunch of things when you make silly mistakes. But I did glue these in, but I don't use a lot of glue, so it might be okay. So if I pull this apart, so to get it back out, just need to gently nudge this out. It's a tight fit. All right, so it's a part like this. Get the magnetic connector out and fold this over. We're going to be careful of the haptics, right? They will sit side by side. There are, you see here, little holes. Little holes at the back to push the magnets out. How many magnets did I wreck, or how many things did I wreck doing this so far? A lot. So it was the outside two that need to come out. So I don't know. So I'm using some very hefty Spark Fun. God, I bought these the first few months I started playing with electronics. Anyway, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to push these out. Got to be very careful I don't break anything. If I can't, I'll just abandon the case. Because it won't work in the dock either. Oh, so be careful not to damage the edge. Yeah, now they're not coming out. They are not coming out. No, they are glued in tight. Okay, so at this point, we grab the antenna, we pull the clip out. That is disappointing, Sion. And this is one I assembled last night to get it ready for the stream today. I should have been shouldn't do that with that. I need screwdriver, tappy tap. Need to get these are stuck on, so I need to get the battery out, but gently. Don't want to damage the battery. And speaker out. They're stuck on. And that case gets thrown in the bin. Oh well. I just threw it across the room. Super frustrating. An hour and a half and a bit of filament down. Why don't you just turn the other magnet around? So, no, they all have to be facing the same way to be compatible with the dock and compatible with everything else. So it like it won't sit on the dock either. Oops. It won't sit on the dock. Right? They all have to be, the orientation has to be correct to be compatible with all of them. And yeah, don't reuse the magnets after. Try a lighter first, heat it up, and then press. Yeah, but that destroys the case anyway, so it doesn't matter. Whatever. The case is it's been used. It's done. It's over. It's over. Anyway, that was all about. I'm just gonna let me move this out the way because this has got sticky stuff. Hang on, I might be able to. We put the backing on. Let me just stick the backing on just temporarily so they don't stick to things. This is not the backing specifically from it, but it's good enough. Okay, so that can just get put aside for now. It's a perfectly good unit. It just has to go into a new case. Oh, what a bummer. Oh well. Ideas further up. Wait, what? What ideas? I just thought, can you glue a metal washer in and then attach magnet to that? Give you a way to swap. Can you glue a metal washer in? Oh, inside the, no. Well, I could, too many steps. Like, the magnets used to be press fit, so I didn't have to glue them. Because gluing them, you know, it takes time. Like, I got to sit here, I got to get them in, I got to wait for the glue to set, I got to get the right amount of glue in, too much glue and it goes on the case and it ruins the case. You know what I mean? Like, it's, each one of these steps involved in assembling one of these things is a lot of work. Like, it's a lot of concentration and time, error prone. Who worked the bull? What? What? Who was incorrect? Had to be the grey one. I'll print you another one, no problem. So anyway, that was all just to show Rob, because he came late, my wall mount prototype for magnetically mounting on a wall. Anyway, I was buying one piece of wood. You were put, what? Or having a kip. Rip case, have it as a bonus for random buyer. No, because it won't, you can't put it into a dock. It'll be like this one, as I said, which has got one magnet the wrong way, makes it really hard to put on the dock because it's pushing away. It's fine. It's honestly, it's fine. Look, now that it's out of the case is out, I might be able to drill them out and still save the case. But I'm likely to damage the edge. I'm likely to damage the surface here of the case trying to get the magnets out. And if I do that, I'm not going to ship the case anyway. If there's a scratch or a mark on the case, it doesn't get shipped. Like, I'm fully expecting when people get them that they'll nick the edges of their cases and whatever, but that's on you. I'll ship it to you pristine. What you do with it after that, yeah. Yeah. So I don't know how you were thinking of wanting to mount them, Rob. Let me know. I mean, this is the idea I've come up with for because the whole thing is it's supposed to be portable, right? So, I mean, I could make a permanent mounting thing, but then that's like I could make a version of the case like this that you screw to a wall, like, you know what I mean? Or actually, I don't know how I would do that because you won't be able to access the buttons or anything once it's that. Anyway, the whole point is that this can be sitting up, like you got your firmware on there. It's doing its own thing. You'll have power only from here, not flashing, and it'll just be, yeah, that's right. And it'll just sit there, and it'll either run off. If you don't power it, it'll just run off battery. You just have to charge the battery now and then, or if it's powered, it runs off power. But at any time, you can be taken out to do stuff with, and put back in. Blew it to the docking station. Blew it to my face. Anyway, okay. God, I'm bummed on that. I was being so careful with the magnets. I better check every other one now. I'm gonna have to check everyone. French cleat wall for a wall if anyone wants, I guess. Sure. I mean, I guess there's a lot of options. The okay, that one's good. I'm checking every single one of them again. Good, good, good. I have to open that box. Good, good, good. I've only got, or I had 5 in cases. Now I've only got 4 in cases. 2, 3. Yep, good. Okay. So by the end of the day today, I will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll have probably 10 of them packaged, ready to go. And I will spend some time on the product page. Okay, so the problem is I'm not going to be able to restrict who buys. I have to work out how that's all going to work. Wall mount for home automation, interaction is where I'm thinking, but can always adapt mounting later. Sure. It's just it's going to need a custom wall mount if you want to be able to power it. Unless you just wall mount it with, with that connected, right? With a cable hanging off the edge, but that's not really gonna, yeah. Like it can't be a passive wall mount because it needs the magnetic charge. Yeah. Fun and games. So I have enough EVA foam here. I can make enough things. Yeah, I've got, yeah. I'm gonna have to prepare at least 10 docks just to make sure that I've got enough docks if people order. I don't know what shipping is going to be on them because, well, it'll be like one unit is fine, but like the dock, this and a dock goes over the threshold of shipping pricing. So many things, so many things. I often wonder why I do this stuff. It's way more painful and complicated than it needs to be. Meanwhile, oh my god, that is hilarious. I keep pulling the magnet things out of the magnet as I pull, because they're in a bag. Okay, I'll show you how. So here's all the magnets in a bag, right? So watch this. Oh! They just keep attaching and coming out the bag. That's a lot of magnets. I can't get them back in the bag now. They can stick to everything. Oh, magnets are fun. Aren't magnets fun? Oh my god, how am I gonna get them back in this bag? I'm not. It's not gonna happen. Oh, it. I'll try to get that back in. I might just have to get another bag if I'm really quick. Okay, I got him in. I pushed him on the side. I don't even know why I'm doing this. Hey, Jonathan. Maybe a hole in the wall mount to align in UK EU electrical back boxes. Sure, I don't know what they are though, like what the specs of those are or how people would want to do it. Well, it can't be mains power like that though. Like you can't. Yeah. Like hit me up outside of chat, Jonathan. Like if you can point me to what things you're thinking about. For me, this was more about how do you put one in and hold it there, and you know what I mean, without having to screw it in. Like I want it to be like just like the dock. I want to be able to just grab it, pick it up, and walk away with it. And it's the same with this. I want to be able to just go up to it and grab it and walk away, right? And never have to worry about clipping it in, clipping it out, and then will it wear out? Like there's, it's literally being held by the magnets. It's awesome. Like really awesome. But even, let me show you this. Like even, oh, it's got no magnets in it though. My other one's at home. Do I really want to put magnets in this one now? No. See, okay. Wait, actually, I can show you on this one. So this is my last prototype. I had to make this gap like 0.4 of a millimeter wider. This does fit. It does fit, but it's not. I had to make this face here a bit taller. Anyway, so it does go in, and that's using magnets. But this one, see, it doesn't go in all the way. My one at home, I think I can go upside down. My one at home, I can see that's being held with magnet that way, but as soon as I go like this, it will come out. But the one at home, which is the correct one, where this gap has been fixed, I can literally grab it like this. Like I walked up to Yaz, I said, hey, check this out. And I went like this, and I literally tipped it over, and I was going like this, and it doesn't come out. I mean, it will. If I shake it, it'll come out. But that's how good the magnetics is of it. Sorry, I thought I'd share that. Yep. Okay. Well, I guess I need to. I feel like I'm under a lot of pressure on the software side to have something there initially that people can use for whatever they want to, as the base for them to build whatever they want to build. Like my code, it's not even documented. None of the code's documented. There's a lot of stuff that has to happen. Oh, the pressure. Oh. Meanwhile, once the stream's over today, I need to run the line today. I'm out of Refill Master Pros. I'm out of some tiny picos, some other stuff. On top of all of this that I'm doing, which seems to be all encompassing, right? And it is, like, it's eating, breathing, sleeping, dreaming, SQUIXL. Like, seriously, no joke. I have something big happening on the microcontroller side of things that I'm working on. Something I'm not going to tell you what it is because it's going to happen, but I'm not ready to announce it yet. But I'm doing a change of stuff, which is now underway. It's even holding up now my Edge S3, right? I'm not going into production of this right now. Like, this is obviously validated and working, but I've now changed it. Something's happening, which is taking up also, it's been taking up a lot of my brain capacity, but not a lot of my time. But as of yesterday, or I guess didn't get to it yesterday, today it's going to start taking up a lot of my time as well. It's, I need more time. I need another Xeon. God, can you imagine? Can you imagine 2 Xeons in the world? Oh my God. I don't think I could work with another Xeon. That'd be a nightmare. Anyway, quantum chip. You heard it here. No, not quantum. It's to do with my existing stuff. It's not a new MCU. It's not a new. Although I've got other things. What I'm talking about is it's something. Anyway, it's there's something exciting coming. I don't know when.
Super chat!
I don't know how long. What? Tommy, happy birthday. Happy birthday, Tommy. How old are you? Oh, I'll ask you. Matt, how old's Tommy, Matt? And thank you for the super chat. You didn't even have to do that. 9. That is awesome. Happy 9th birthday, Tommy. Hope you have a wonderful day. Hope you get really cool presents. I hope you get a Switch too. So I just throw you under the bus, Matt. I hope you get a SQUIXL for your birthday. No, I'm kidding. Pac-Man for Tommy. Yeah, definitely you should get Tommy a Switch too. My God, they're so expensive. Lynn wants a Switch too. Oh my God, he wants a Switch too just to play one game. Not happening. Anyway, yeah, that's really cool. Hope you have awesome cake. Can you save me a piece of cake, Tommy? And get your dad to send it to me? I don't care if it's a bit moldy when it arrives. It'll still be okay, maybe, to eat. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I need to. So much to do. Little bit ice cream cake, so it's going to be a bit liquid by the time. Yeah, okay, I'll pass on that. I'm not a huge fan of ice cream cake anyway, but it's SQUIXL for Tommy. Yeah, no. Nothing like a paperweight for your birthday. Hey, are you calling my products paperweights? That's nasty. That is really nasty. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm a bit, I've been up since really early, as I mentioned. Oh, boy. I don't know what to do. I need to print some cases. I need to print... yeah. Okay, I'm going to stop procrastinating. I am going to... God. I'm torn. Buy the lineup, build Reflow Master Pros, which means I need to disassemble everything on the pick and place machine because it's currently set up for SQUIXLs. And we're talking about like third of the feeders need to be changed, and a whole bunch of parts pulled off feeders and parts loaded back on the feeders, because there's so many uniques on this that I've never had on my line before, that it took me a whole day to set up the line to run this. And I really don't want to pull it apart right now, because if things go okay, then I want to make some more. But with Home Assistant integration. Right, so Bruce, so what I've got for, I have a version of base firmware for SQUiXL that is my firmware and Larry's graphics library running little VGL. So you have full little VGL support, which means you can do Home Assist. I don't know whether it's little VGL has Home Assistant stuff in it or available for it, or Home Assistant has little VGL stuff. Either way, it should be what you need to put together Home Assistant stuff in little VGL on SQUiXL. Does that make sense? Someone please correct me if I'm wrong. Not if I'm wrong, but how it works. I was told that if there was a little VGL on here, Home Assistant was possible. So I do have that almost ready. It doesn't have all the other bells and whistles, like it doesn't have the I2S audio stuff and whatever at the moment. It's just little VGL. I would go MQTT with firmware instead. Right, but that requires people to actually write that, right? And it requires, writing all the graphical side and stuff, where at least with little VGL, there's a whole bunch of things already there. I don't know. They're the type of things I need to get out there, like get available for people to leverage. And it makes it hard when I don't use ESP Home or home automation stuff, so I don't even, I couldn't even build something to try it here because I don't know how it works and I don't have anything set up to test it with. Yeah. Okay. Someone picks this up and runs it also like hotcakes. I don't know if it will though, Jonathan, in London, because there's already something for the HA community already out there using this screen from, is it Tasmoda or someone, for like $50. So, it doesn't have all the functionality that mine's got, but it's still a touchscreen, right? With with HA stuff. So, like, why would someone spend $100 on a SQUiXL when they can pay $50 for something that can mount to a wall that does Home Assistant but doesn't have all the other things, right? YAML is terrible. No, not the. Or was it? No, the. I think. Is it Tasmoda had one? Or was it a wave share? Home Assistant 480 by 480. There's that one. There's no, it wasn't that one. Who was it? I showed it last week, I think. Andy Mouse. Good night. Yeah, good night and squeak. Have a good sleep, mate. Thanks for joining. Here we go. So this thing, well, this is one of them. Wait, where's my screen? Sharing screen. So this is one of them. It's not $14. That's just the cable. Right, but it's like, it says, they're the different things, but it's a, why is it not showing the screen? These things, right? So it's designed to go on the wall, whatever. Relay for Arduino, little VGL. Got RS485, whatever, I don't know, right? Hey, David, you are late, just a little bit. So, you know, that's the adapter. So where's their, right, so they're $53 Australian, right? So why is it not letting me? Not letting me set my currency. Oh, here. So this is saying $32. So, you know, why would someone spend $99 when they can pay $32 to get whatever this thing is, which has got no features compared to mine? Right, it was a Tuya one. That was what I was thinking. Right? Is that the same one? No, this looks different. This is not ESP32 though. This one, or whatever it is, it's Zigbee. It's something else, whatever else. So yeah, I don't think the HA community will jump on SQUIXL at all, because you know most of the people there are very heavily into, you know, buying Chinese cheaper products and getting them working in their environments and stuff. So yeah, but I'm not trying to compete with these things. I mean, they're different feature set. It's got app remote control. Okay. Simulations of HA users are not too price sensitive, but we'll go with whatever has good backing. Some, maybe some will, but it's, you know, it's going to be a hard sell SQUIXL in that community unless there was a very polished HA integration, software-wise, firmware-wise, right? And that's just something that, you know, is going to take an enormous amount of time. Even if I knew what that integration needed to be, it's just one of those things. There's only just so much time I have. You know, like I want to make games for this as well. I want to make, like, oh, okay, I got to stop. But Johnny said he's going to do it. Can you make it compatible? Well, I don't know how to make it compatible with ESP Home. I don't know what is involved with doing that. You mean making it a device that someone can just... Yeah, I don't know how that works. I have no idea, Grindel. That's the thing. I don't use ESP Home. I don't know what's involved with doing that. Like, it sounds like it would be, you know, quite a large amount of work to do that. And if there are already, you know, touchscreeny things this sizey shape that can already do that with ESP Home, which I'm pretty sure I saw one, right? Then I just, you know, so one of these, so $27, fast memory, lost memory, great format, is a wall mount switch, 120-volt relay, does not require programming. Many thanks to everybody in the ESP Home discussion board for helping me get this working. Right, there's already stuff there. Right? I just don't know. It's the little VGL, the ESP Home tips and tricks, local lights. Yeah. This is just a world of knowledge I don't have. Check if the sensors you use. What sensors? This doesn't have any sensors specifically. So there's an expansion port on this obviously an I2C port on the side. Can anyone see that? Probably not. There we go. There's an I2C stemma QT port on the side. So you can plug in, you know, temperature sensor, blah, blah, whatever else, but they'll be external. But there's no specific sensors in this thing. It's not designed to be a hub with sensors in it for checking things. I would assume so. I mean, the touch sensor is compatible with little VGL. Like, I don't know. I'd have to. I don't have anything here that sends data. I don't have anything here that would, like, I'd have to set up ESP Home. I don't even know what's involved. It's for another day, folks. Another day, or someone else can tackle it. You know, maybe I'll do a deal. I'll send someone, if someone wants to put their hand up to get ESP Home or whatever it is, HA, whatever it's all called now, up and running on a SQUiXL, then I'll send them a SQUiXL. But yeah, you gotta remember, it's not, the hardware is very specific. Like the way this boots and is initialized and the screen is initialized and stuff is not standard ESP32S3 IO control stuff, right? It requires my software or a version, or it's got to be my software or someone implementing what my software does to get the screen to display, because of the fact that the whole initialization sequence is happening through an IO expander, not through the ESP32 directly. Hands up if it's pink. Okay. Well, Johnny, you might have committed yourself. Yeah. There's only just so much stuff I can do myself. So this stuff here, that defines the stuff that happens in little VGL. And so then, right, okay. Is that what it's all doing? We need to find a way to make a wealthy benefactor. a Nigerian prince. Does anyone have a spare Nigerian prince? You can forward me their email. I'll just slap MQTT on the existing firmware. On which existing firmware? On my firmware? It's already got MQTT support. Is that what you meant? But how are you going to visually show stuff? That's what I'm saying. Like, this thing has all the widgets and all the whatever else and blah, blah, blah. Like, if it's a temperature sensor, it's got a common widget. If it's this, it's got a common, like, all those things have to be designed in my firmware because they're not there. Like, I was never, not saying that the little VGL stuff for ESP Home is fantastic or looks great, but at least it's there. Anyway, or if someone wants to send me just a guide to how I can just get what the basic ESP Home setup I need. Like, what do I need? Does it need a server? Is there something that's running a server instance that everything talks to? Or is it just every bit of hardware uniquely has, like, you know, my temperature sensor board that was sitting on my desk, which is currently unplugged, that was sending my MQT messages to my SQUiXL. Like, what do I need to put on that to make it ESP Home compatible that's sending something, right? Hey, color maker. So just a Pi running ESP Home, is that it? Like, I just install ESP Home. I can look on the internet. I can, whatever. I'm just, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, get buried in this. Like, I want a minimal viable combination with Home Assistant. Right, I need a minimum viable setup that I could have a sensor and my SQUiXL showing sensor reading via ESP Home, right? And I need a minimum viable setup on how to do that. Oh. And I'll just add it to the list of 1,000 things that I need to get to at some point before I die. Folks, I'm going to go. Thank you for joining. It was a bit of a none of... Yeah, I know ESP Home is different to Home Assistant. I know. And you don't need ESP Home now, right? You can just do everything in Home Assistant. Oh, it's now part, is it? Okay. Right, so I need to set something up that's running Home Assistant that I can have into that I can then get SQUiXL talking to, or whatever, right? Okay, another day. I need to start up the line, and I need to build Wi-Fi Master Pros. So that's going to be my focus. I have to pull the pick and place apart, all the feeders, I mean. Anyway, whatever. Thank you for joining. Thanks for watching today. I feel like I didn't do anything on the stream other than get some magnets the wrong way around, but there was a glimpse into my production of SQUiXL. Yeah. But now it's going to be coffee and pick and place line. Johnny, thank you very much for the super chat, and I will get some pink filament. And Matt, thank you for your super chat. And happy birthday again, Tommy. Worth it just to see the wall mount hardware. It looks awesome, mate. Thank you. Thank you. On that note, quickly, after that picture I saw before, so what about magnetic connector to screw terminals at the back that you wire and screw into? So screw terminals here. Forgetting about the mounting it into a UK or EU block. I'm talking about just a standard. I want to put this on the wall, and I've got some power. So screw terminals facing backwards or from the bottom. Bottom would be ugly. I don't want the cables. So from the back and the magnetic on the front. So I need to design some hardware to go in there, like PCB with the magnetic connector and stuff, and get them prototyped to fit inside. And it needs to fit. I don't want this thing to be super deep, so it needs to kind of fit in there. And screw terminals are big. So anyway, something like that. Bye everyone. Thank you. Have a great week, and catch you all next week. And I'll let you all know on Discord and Twitter, wherever else, when the product page is up and you can order or pre-order or whatever. Yeah. Panel on top so it can charge itself. I'll let myself out now. Yeah. Big solar panel. Anyway, bye everyone. Take care.